Hello, this is Gerald 2 Here in the background you see a lot of resuming theory that deals with the significance of letters in words. Every letter actually has a kind of orientation which we can figure out how we make up an order, actually. An order that goes so automatically in a similar way as we have an orientation into a spatial orientation where we see right, left, up, down, somewhere closer by or further away. These kind of distinctions go automatically. The same kind of distinctions you can find in the letter associations as well that we use to recognize one of these things that are dominating. And we can resume all the letters in a dominating placement. I will slightly change the way how I make a difference between three different orientations that we can have with letters. One of them, I already told before, is going towards one center. You can also make a distinction between the three kinds of orientations that you start from somewhere. You start from a point of orientation. That's the first kind of mindset, and there are about 9 letters that fit with that in a certain order, in a certain logic. I'm not going to explain that now, but you can see it starts from somewhere. As soon as we have a displacement from the placement and orientation on a place, we also need the idea of timing, moves, changes, and so on. And the emphasis changes from starting from somewhere as changes towards a going to a change, a displacement, and so on. And that's the second mindset that you can have. And you have also letters for that. You have 9 positions for that with letters in it. Or you go, and that's the third option, and now I explain it slightly different. It's really orientating itself not just from somewhere and to somewhere, but the zone in between is defined. It's going from somewhere to somewhere as a definition. That's the third option that you have, which I also described in various ways. It's within this 1, 2, 3 rhythm. You have this kind of orientation. Also there are 9 positions. Let's have as much as examples as possible that you understand how this orientation works. At the same time, it's about a formation process that can be formed, some idea, not just how it looks, but also how it moves, and so on. There's a lot of association that you have there with each word, so that you can sometimes also have a formation process onto it, because it directs you towards a certain direction with points of orientation, with physical points of orientation. But let's find out how our mindset actually is influenced by the letters in the next word, which is freak. Let's go to freak. And what do we need for it? A couple of letters here that you already see here at the right. There are 2 letters from the first category, 2 letters from the second category, and 1 letter from the last category. So the A and K are physical references where you start from. 2 letters are from the second category about that is related with timings and changes and direction and so on. And there you have, your mind is going towards something there. It's going towards what is different. And the letter R in the end is from the third category. It's more connecting it together. So let's see how these 5 letters connect itself with each other. Comes to it also an extra point of the theory, which is quite important as well to understand the orientations well. So while the first 9 letters are about positions as starting points, really points, 1, 2, 3 points. A and K are one-pointed orientations. Then you have the second category with 1, 2, 3 directions. Also there, the numbers help you to understand how to interpret these orientations. So the second level is always with 2 directions. Here as well with the vertical, 2 times vertical as well. While in the background the move and the changes are going forward. That's most easy to associate it like that. And the last one is in the 3, in the number 3. So the F is in the vertical sense. Sorry, the vertical sense with 3 variations. So it's not perfectly vertical. So you have also this deviation at the end. You also have always these 3 categories. So 1, 2, 3 in horizontal, 1, 2, 3 in vertical. Looking for certainty and discovering uncertainties. The third level is always discovering the uncertainty. So also with F you will have an uncertainty principle that I will explain a bit later. The letter R is with the number 2 associated, and it's in the vertical, so it is actually going towards somewhere and starting from somewhere so that it can make that connection. Basically that is the explanation of that letter. Okay, now the reality of it. So how do we associate it? Of course we will have a difference with the orientations into 1 center or into 2 centers. The letter F is from the second category, so we orientate ourselves towards 2 centers. Compared to people, we have the number 1, or also in the first category, a starting point, which is our starting point, how we see things. When we deal with the number 2, we also deal with another starting point, with what is different with the other. So we're going to orientate ourselves with our directions that we follow up towards the other. So the freak is not about ourselves, but how we see the other. That's already something that you can make from it. It's logic that you have to learn to adapt to and learn how to work with it. But that's basically always the same thing. That's the way how we orientate ourselves with the letter F. We go towards the 1, 2 center, or towards the center to look for what is different, and what is different is in the other place, the other placement, the other itself as well. So the freak is the other. So we focus upon that other when using the letter F. And the letter F in the 1, 2, 3 options. We have the 3 options. So it is about the trying to figure out the right vertical measurement. But it's difficult. It's in the 1, 2, 3, the last option, that it's difficult to find your direction, but we will find direction. One of the ways to express it as well is that we describe it as a direction. Let's find out the direction. Of course, you can use the vertical and see it like, okay, it's somewhere in the somewhere where we have the direction where we have to go to. But in a way, the diagonal sense is there already as well, because of its unclarity of where we should find its direction. It's finding its direction. It's a direction. It's going towards a direction with a certain irregularity, and dealing with an irregularity, how the materialization processes are proceeding themselves, let's say. The R, as the next letter, will make a connection. Let's figure it out as let's now quickly make the connection as a wave. I will use the wave here just as an expression, and we'll find out what connection do we have. But we have to go towards the F, of course, not from our point of view to make a connection, but make a connection with the F's. So that's where the connections go. So towards it and from it. Because of these irregularities, we go towards a certain focus that where we can make a connection, and we have a different one in the 1, 2, 3 option where we cannot make a connection, or which is something different. Which is going towards a different direction. So it goes into two different directions in that way. So we're a bit disorientated as well, even if we try to find a connection. If we see all the connections that are possible with F, the 3 options, they will not all go to the same solution. They will divide also our orientation. So the F with the R combined will not make it better, it will make it worse to connect it. So there's a certain point of disconnection possible there already. But we will connect it, or will express it, what we are focusing upon with the E and the A, also expressed as E. And the E and the A are 2 different orientations. The E is at comparison. Where is the change? What is different? What do we see that is different? That's our first focus. And we already know by connecting the 1, 2, 3 options, we see that there are differences. So the change is the difference. Our orientation is the difference. We're focusing upon the difference. And with the E, of course, we will have that, that is in the background, we will have that feedback process that will tell us again, no, there is a disconnection there. With the K, it makes it even worse. It's going towards the recognition that there is a disconnection between the options of F. And that's already very close by to the understanding of freak. Of course, with this feedback process as well, that we see the difference, that we sense it, that it's going towards different directions, makes it even stronger, this association. Okay, but what is different? What is new there? What is really, really different there from E to A? It's that disconnections which in the end will be dominant. It's the last letter is the conclusion. The K will be dominant. It's that not holding it together very well, even though that we would like to. So at the end we will have that person where we focus upon with differences of how it is connected. If we compare it, for instance, with a photograph of a person which is associated as a freak, it will also become clear. The first couple of letters, F, R, and E, are really going towards the direction of what we try to follow up and so on. The A and the K were in the category of physicality, and it's that breaking up as well of that unity of A, which becomes a disunity in K. And that's what you have then also. If you look up freak, I immediately had a movie about a freak. You see these disconnections between the disconnections in its physicality as well, that where we try to focus, and we see already the different directions. He's going, you see the eyes are going in a different direction, so that makes it a freak. Also here in the very famous movie Freaks, also there you have the different eyes, the different directions that you do not expect it. This makes disconnections. The 2 eyes are disconnected. They are hanging together, but they are disconnected. The arms should be somewhere else. They are disconnecting our mindset of trying to look for the one direction which we cannot find, because we see the disconnections, the badly hanging together. And that's basically what a freak is expressing, also physically. And in orientations from letter to letter in its combinations, it's actually described very well. If you want to prepare yourself towards understanding how a logic works automatically as well, you can get used to the kinds of logic that you could make from it in the development of the word or the first part of sounding form. If you want to compare it with older scripts and methods that make a methodical idea behind letters, you can also read the second volume, Application of the Word. the second part of that large book sounding form. Or if you want to prepare yourself first intuitively, when for instance you're more interested in other kinds of logic in the alternative sense, okay, you also have Changeling of the Seasons, which is about seasons, which is about the logic in tarot, which is about the logic in the elements and so on. You can also start from there if you like. There's a web page sounding form with previous videos so that you can get used indeed to the logic in letters, how you could interpret it. And sometimes I redo the words and I do that differently. That gives you also an idea of the variations that you can still have while keeping the same logic follow-up in the words. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you can also subscribe to a Facebook page which is there as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye.